You can't tell by looking at these animals, but each one is a sort of radio station. Each one carries a transmitter about the size of a nickel that broadcasts all brainwave activity to a little modem in the mattress, so to speak. And all sleep-wake cycles are recorded 24 hours a day for its entire life.
Hi there, it's Paul and Phil inside the computer workstation of the future.
It's desktop video conferencing with the answer guys.
What roller coaster is more than a mile long, more than 210 feet tall, and loops 7 times at 85 miles an hour? Hi, I'm Richard Hart with the next step in technology. Actually, those records are held by 4 different roller coasters. But now that virtually every amusement ride is simulated in a computer long before it's ever built, you can be sure those records and the coasters will be falling faster than ever.
This right here will scare the heck out of people. It's going to be really scary. Basically, we did it with 3D computing. I don't know that there is a limit. You get to a certain point where the coaster gets a terminal velocity, just like jumping out of an airplane.
A roller coaster is a self-inflicted techno-primal jab at frail human courage, with fierce names and perilous heights and no brakes on board. Yep, you pays your money to get shaken and stirred. And the amusement parks wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely. They want bragging rights. In fact, there's been lawsuits over who has had the tallest coaster in the world or who's had the fastest and that kind of thing.
So where do you go to meet the twisted minds that come up with all this twisted metal?
You go to a place where there isn't even a roller coaster in sight. The shores of Utah's Great Salt Lake.
Now, what's the G-forces, right?
Aerodynamics in Clearfield, Utah. These loop artists can make you sick, but they won't.
There are certain things that, due to our experience or our knowledge of what forces and geometries do to people, that we won't do, that we'll refuse to do.
It's in the shop at Aero that the need for speed is satisfied. The cars are easy. Fiberglass frames over a steel chassis. The real art comes in designing the track.
The roller coaster uses gravity energy from having been carried up a lift.
The science is making sure that once that potential energy is released, there's enough to get the car back to the station. The art is spending that energy in new and interesting ways. And that means engineering maximum height, maximum drops, and maximum G's. Or no G's at all.
The Drachenfire at Busch Gardens in Williamsburg, Virginia. And that first hill, we put a parabolic curve in there. And what that does is give you about 4 seconds of 0 G.
But above all, coasters are about maximum speed. The current record is 85 miles an hour. There's even a psychological element to coaster design. How much do you want your riders to be aware of their predicament?
A coaster that doesn't loop, especially a very large one, the speeds are very high, and you're able to comprehend everything that's going in. There's a lot more kind of fear factor. They're scarier. They really are.
And if you think these guys don't know more about throwing your body around than a pro wrestler, listen to the next step in coaster design, called a pipeline.
Our current coasters, when you bank into a corner, you kind of rock back and forth. But the pipeline puts a point of rotation right in the center of your chest so that we can just flip you over really quick. It allows you to do barrel rolls, snap rolls, airplane acrobatic type maneuvers.
So that's coaster science. Make it fast, make it safe, and give it a vicious name. After that, build it and they will come.
Whoa! What's the next step in roller coasters? The tallest, the fastest, the biggest, indoors.
Well, anyway, you get the point. Here it is, the biggest indoor coaster in the world, Grand Slam Canyon at Circus Circus in Las Vegas. A 2-loop with corkscrew, 2,400-foot, 40-plus mile-an-hour screamer. And the next step beyond this?
I think the next generation of coasters is going to have elements of ride and technology that is employed currently in simulators. I think you're going to see a kind of combining of those two things. A coaster with digital displays maybe a coaster with a virtual reality helmet attached to it, so you get the G-forces and you get maybe some different visual sensations, things like that.
The most expensive technology in a roller coaster is in the wheels. The tires cost 5 times what they do on your car. The same goes for the brakes. And finally, a physics lesson. Any roller coaster will go faster when the air is warm but dry and when it's heavier. So if you're going to do it right, get a bunch of friends together, pack that car, and ride on a warm autumn day.
Next up, rest easy now that we've located your biological clock and the next step in personal digital assistance.